Welcome back, Officers of Public. It's your correspondent, Royal Police Chief. Jesus Christ, I look terrible. Well, I mean, what else is new, I guess. So Separatists. It looks like B1 is going to be the login reward, and there's like a 70% chance that login rewards are tied to what's coming. We've long since thought that we were going to get some sort of Clone Wars prequel content. My predictions were yes, some Bad Batch. Also Relic Kylo Ren. How cool! I was thinking like some extra Bad Batch, like random characters or things to fill out various Galactic Republic squads. But most importantly, and for a lot of people, excitingly, Separatists. We got the Mace rework plus Marauder. Now Marauder ended up just being a little bit better on Negotiator, obviously, because Negotiator is just a better ship. But I imagine we'll get another ship, and that will kind of bring Marauder over to Mason. There'll be like two Galactic Republic ships, and then we're gonna get like a second Separatist ship, and Asajj and Dooku's starfighters and stuff like that. I imagine expansion of ships is going to be in the works because thanks, Boo Boo. I appreciate that. I imagine that we're going to have some sort of expansion of TW, and we've long since had a rumored ship upgrade. But more excitingly, I think we're going to get more Separatist characters. Now, a lot of people are anticipating we get some sort of galactic legend, Tyrannus or something like that. Now, while I think that'd be really cool, most Separatists on bigger accounts are already highly relicked. I'm talking most people have. Boo Boo. Most people have all of the Separatist droids relics for General Grievous. The Geonosians are relicked mostly for older events back before TB3, when people were really trying to max out Darkside TB. For the Malevolence fleet, I mean, Dooku and Nute Gunray are high relics because they're requirements. I'm not sure if Asajj is a requirement, but she's probably relicked because people have Marin and Powerful Night Sisters. So while I would be a huge fan of a GL Tyrannus, I'm not sure where they can get the money from. It would probably, Jesus Christ, sorry about the dog. It would probably require really high relics on some Separatist characters, like I don't know, like a Droidica and a B, like places where you probably wouldn't want super high relics, or you're not going to get enough oomph out of higher relics. Plus, maybe even a trench and probably like 3 to 4 marquee characters. Maybe what they can do is, you know, super highly relic Dooku, like Dooku to 9. That would be crazy. A couple of really annoying high, like 8s on some of the characters that we don't want to take to 8. Probably like a Dooku Starfighter, a Trench Relic, and then 3 to 4 marquees, and then a couple of. I mean, maybe they add new Galactic Republic and they make those requirements for a GL Tyrannus. I want it to happen, right? I want it to happen just as much as you do. I'm just trying to find, CG's favorite term, design space, for it to happen. That's their excuse for everything that they don't want to come to the game. Like, oh, we just don't have the design space set up. And what they mean by that is they just don't have an adequate way of extracting money from you. So I'm a little iffy on the GL Tyrannus. Another thing that some people, and I actually do think that this could happen. Let me talk quickly about ships real quick before I think about the GL that I think could come. An expansion of the Separatist fleet to have a second, like a trench capital ship or whatever, and then a couple more like a Asajj and a Dooku, and then maybe they go with. I can't imagine. I mean, the Malevolence literally exists for these ships, so they'd have to go with the trench, and then opening up like we talked about. Apparently I can upgrade Vulture Droid. So the GL that I actually do think has a higher than not chance of being a Galactic Legend, if we do in fact go back to this prequel Clone Wars era content, is, and don't laugh at me because I know this sounds fucking ridiculous, but a neutral a neutral Palpatine of some kind, a Chancellor Palpatine or something. I've heard rumblings that there's at least one person who's very adamant about this in the past, where it could be cool to have some sort of flip flop between leftover Separatists and leftover Clone Wars, or Galactic Republic, or maybe even both. They've definitely taken bigger swings with how they want characters to function, with transforming shapes and having different requirements. And then, of course, they did the first ever test of neutral. Thank you, Boo Boo, with Hondo Anaka. Now, a lot of people thought that if we were going to get a neutral Galactic Legend, it would be a Revan, and I do think the Revan would make big bucks. But I think they kind of struggle from the same thing where a lot of them are already really highly relicked because they're really good, so they'd have to add more characters. I mean, I think we get like a Satil Shan to be like the Malgus for the Jedi Knight Revan team. I think that's definitely possible in a upcoming conquest at some point. Um, but as far as neutral is concerned, I mean, there's a couple of leftover separatists that might be able to not be on the Grievous and Trench teams that could make their way over. Plus, you can fill that out with leftover Clone Wars. Obviously, you get marquees of some kind, and then you might have a relatively viable Galactic Legend team. One that I think would sell well because I think that would be a cool Galactic Legend. It depend on how powerful they are, obviously. If they can hold on defense, I know there's some GLs that can't hold on defense. The other Palpatine, and I know it would be kind of weird to have two Palpatines, but um, it would be an interesting, again, design space because then they could keep selling you marquee characters and conquest characters on both sides of the aisle, and it would kind of open up the space for them to do that. Now, while I think that's more likely than a GL Tyrannus, do I think that's likely at all? I don't know. I truthfully don't know. I mean, we're all predicting that this is the era of content we're going into, but truthfully, we don't really know for sure. I guess a last Hail Mary of some kind is if they do end up going like post Galactic, like post Clone Wars to like the era that they're really exploring the somehow Palpatine returned. Let's take 700 different series to try and explain this so it doesn't sound super stupid because no one really liked the movies. Um, I don't think we get a Galactic Legend out of that era, but I do think that maybe if that's where they go, we could get maybe some Commandos, some Clone Assassins, um, a Crosshair of some kind to replace Omega, and I don't know, maybe some other characters that are going to come in season 3 that we haven't yet looked at. I think there's definitely space to add a bunch of marquee characters from seasons of Bad Batch that haven't been tapped into, and well, for CG, I mean that would equal money, right? Um, I gotta keep playing fetch with the dog. Um, yeah, let me know what you guys think as far as what era of content you think are coming, how you think the ships will be affected. Are we going to get a Galactic Legend of some kind? Is it going to be completely unrelated? Are we going to get the Thrawn Galactic Legend that people have anticipated for 4 years? What's going to sorry, what's going to be the next era that we're going to enter into now that CG is theoretically going to drop a post sometime in the next couple weeks? Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I love you. Apparently, Boo Boo loves you as well, or at least he loves playing fetch during videos, but I'll see you later. Okay, thanks, Boo Boo. I appreciate that.